Coming to you from Hilbert College, it is the podcast Running Wild. Joining us in studio, Travis Hicks. Travis, welcome.
Hello, Gabe.
So, Travis.
So, Gabriel.
What did you think of the Bills game last night?
I'd rather not talk about it.
We're recording, right? We have to kind of talk about it.
Unfortunately.
As much as it might pain you, I'm sorry, Travis.
It does, but, no, it was a predictable upset. As much of an oxymoron as that might sound, it was a predictable upset. I mean, we've been there too many times. We've played the Jets too many times. I saw a stat after the game that we started 5-2 or something 3 times since 2000 something. Every time we lose to the Jets. It was too good to be true, Gabe.
For the record, at Thix predicted it.
Right, yeah.
You really did predict it.
The Twitter account, it's in writing, predicted it before the game started.
So what went into that prediction? Was it the fact that you just brought up, or are there other underlying issues that you've seen throughout the season?
Well, the defense has been playing very well the past few games, and, I hate to say it, but I thought they were due for a lousy game. Right. Especially a primetime game. We lost to the Jets at home last year for a primetime game. So, it's just a couple of factors like that.
Are you saying that the lights are too bright for the Bills?
That might be what I'm saying. I mean, we lost to Seattle primetime last year. We don't do well in that situation. So,
which I have to wonder, it can't be that much different, you would think, for the players.
Right, I agree. You're going out there, play your game, right? I mean, it's not like tons of people are watching any other Sunday.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't understand it, but whatever it was, going to MetLife, bad feeling.
I think you're right that maybe the defense was due, but they've been great. They've been bailing out the offense. For me, it's the O-line.
Well, I didn't predict that before the game, but watching the game, the O-line was not good.
Right, but they haven't been good all season. When we had Ryan Shupp on the pod, shout out to Ryan Shupp, I said we have Richie Incognito and 4 big question marks.
Right. I mean, I agree with that. I think the O-line has had its moments, but overall, I agree. It's been less than underwhelming.
And then Tyrod Taylor. Is he the franchise quarterback, Travis?
Absolutely not. He is a pretender that could easily get us into a wild card spot. He's good enough.
He's talented enough to do that.
To get into a wild card spot,
especially with this defense.
Right. Are we going to win that wild card game? No, we are not. We will be the Dolphins, just like last year. They made the playoffs. Everybody was happy, and then they got smoked by the Steelers. They made it a game at the end, but they got smoked. And I think that would be the Bills game, but we'd end the drought. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a step in the right direction, at least.
But you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor. You're not going to win a playoff game, in my opinion, with Tyrod Taylor.
Not a meaningful one, no.
Right, exactly. So where do you draw the line? Are we playing to make the playoffs and end the drought, or are we playing to win a championship? So obviously we're not in the position to win a championship. Right. We're in a position to end the drought. And we made that objective a lot harder on ourselves after last night's loss, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So going forward, let's pull it up. We have the Bills' remaining schedule. It gets tough. I'd say there are about 3 wins, 3 solid wins maybe. We play the Saints, the Chargers, Chiefs, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Pats.
I mean, I think it's going to come down to, well, first and foremost, we need to win the games we're supposed to win. We need to beat the Colts, and we need to beat the Dolphins twice. Mm-hmm. Beating the Dolphins twice will not be an easy task by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to come down to winning a couple of those borderline games. Can we stay with the Saints offense? That'll be tough. That'll be a test for our defense because the Saints put up a lot of points. On the other side, the Patriots. I mean, we seem to always win a game or two that we're not really supposed to win. So, in my opinion, we used one of those against Oakland. Mm-hmm. Oakland had an off day. We were home, and the lousy weather played a factor. But I don't think we were supposed to win that game. But we ended up pulling it out. So maybe we can get one against the Patriots, which would really, really help those odds of making the playoffs. But
Right.
Gabe, I'm going to be honest. I don't think 9-7 makes the playoffs this year. I think we need 10 wins to make the playoffs. So we'll
10
see.
wins to be a lock for the playoffs, but I
Right.
think 9 might make the playoffs. And that's not a testament to the Bills. That's a testament of how weak the AFC is right now.
Right. It is. That's indisputable. So I agree with that.
More on Tyrod Taylor, though. I think his graded asset is most damaging for the team. His ability to escape the pocket and make plays with his feet.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. I mean, with that line constantly just letting guys through, it's great that he can do that. Do I wish he would just stand in the pocket and throw more passes? Yeah, I do, But like on the touchdown last night to Zay Jones, that was a great play. Great route by Zay Jones, first and foremost. But secondly, it was a great patience by Tyrod, waiting, not freaking out. It was a great play, but we'll see, Gabe. I mean, that's the type of guy he is. He leads the NFL in rushing yards, so
Right.
we'll see.
I think, like you said about the O-line, we've seen moments where Tyrod has been spectacular, but to me, he's just far too inconsistent. This is a pass-first league, and that's why we keep coming around to I don't think Tyrod's the future. Is Nathan Peterman? Probably not, but for right now, Tyrod is the placeholder.
Right.
What did you think of the Calvin Benjamin trade?
I think we'll see. We traded for a receiver that has proved himself in the past, but hasn't proved anything this year. Since his injury, he hasn't proved anything.
Right.
So do I see why the Panthers wanted to get rid of him? Oh, yeah. I see that they were like, this guy got hurt, hasn't been the same. He's out of shape. I mean, everybody sees those pictures online. But, we'll see. If he seemed pretty into it. I was, disappointed he couldn't play last night, even if it was just a red zone guy, just, get open type of thing. But whatever, I mean, he's proved himself. He's a good receiver, so he has the hands.
Bills Nation went nutso after that trade, though.
They did. And I did tweet that we needed to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yes, you did. You can fact check us at Thix.
At Thix. But, the expectations were really high. They're still there, but I think we need to relax a little bit.
So what you said is totally 100% correct. That's why I'm skeptical right now. He's been out of shape. He showed up to preseason camp for the Panthers out of shape. He had a bad attitude, apparently, and so the Panthers were more than willing to part ways. And I think he will be good because he could be that vertical threat.
Right.
Zay Jones isn't that. No one is that.
Zay Jones seemed to prove himself as a slot receiver, I think.
Right. He can't be your number one wide receiver option.
No.
Can Anquan Bolden be that?
I hope Anquan Bolden never plays again in the NFL again. And we'll just leave that at that.
Fair enough. So cautious optimism for Calvin Benjamin.
Right.
Kansas City, Dallas. Dallas -2.
With Zeke back, -2.
Right.
Kansas City was the favorite. But then Zeke came back, so they switched it. I think it's two teams that have a lot to prove. Two teams that had a lot of expectations coming in. Obviously, the Chiefs lived up to those in the beginning, but they dropped a little bit here at the end. They lost that heartbreak to Oakland. And Dallas lost a couple games that they shouldn't have lost. They're too good of a team to lose those games. Dallas's secondary has been very skeptical this year.
This year?
Yeah. Oh, you're saying forever.
They've always been skeptical. Yeah.
Well, right. But
I know what you mean.
I noticed it a ton this year. So we will see. I mean, if I were, to bet.
If you were a betting man.
I would think Dallas would be able to pull it out.
You would swallow the points?
I would.
Okay.
2 points is nothing.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Once it gets that, it's can you win by a field goal? But
right.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on this year in the NFL in general, Travis.
Right, I couldn't agree more with that.
Everything you thought you knew about the NFL, it's useless knowledge.
Right, exactly. And I mean, after the performance I saw Alex Smith put out against the Broncos, he didn't look like Alex Smith to me. He didn't look like the MVP that we thought he was going to be. So, I don't know. We'll see. As I said, a lot to prove both sides.
What about Ezekiel Elliott and his case right now?
I think that he just needs to get the suspension over with. He needs to just, I mean, he's going to get suspended for 6 games regardless, I feel.
Right.
And there's just no stopping it. And putting it off, soon you're going to miss a playoff game, or you're going to come back week 17 and
you'll be rusty for the playoffs.
Right, exactly, or not in shape or whatever. So I think he just needs to get it over with. But
fair enough.
I love watching him play, so hopefully he doesn't even get suspended, but we'll see.
Let's move on. The Patriots, they have a bye this week, but they've been making a lot of noise, Travis, especially concerning Tom Brady, TB12.
TB12, the GOAT.
And he's the future. At age 40, Travis, he is the future for that franchise. Why do I say that? They just traded away Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers for a second-round pick. What are your initial thoughts?
Tom Brady can do it for the next 2 years. This year and next year, I think he'll be fine. After that, Father Time's undefeated.
Are you going Max Kellerman on me?
So,
yeah. Meep.
We're going to see. Father Time is undefeated, so I don't know. Knowing the Patriots, that second-round pick's going to end up being some stud. Whatever position, he's going to be some stud. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just how things work out for them. So maybe they want a younger guy. I mean, this draft's heavy with quarterbacks. Maybe some of these good quarterbacks are going to stay. Sam Darnold, he'll stay till next year, and then he'll be in next year's draft. So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. The Patriots, they're such a wild card. It's like Aaron Rodgers' team, you know? Defense might be skeptical, offense might be really inconsistent here or there, but when it counts, they get it done.
They deliver, right?
I mean, and the Patriots have shown that this year. So they could have lost 2 or 3 games, but all of a sudden Tom Brady comes right down the field and scores. Same thing. Aaron Rodgers before he got hurt, Cowboys were cheering. There was a minute 12 or a minute 18 left on the clock and 2 timeouts. You can't give these guys that much time. It's crazy to think that that's too much time, but with some of these guys, it is. So they're all wild cards. So
2 quick things. First of all, if anyone's going to play to the age of 45, it's going to be Tom Brady.
Right.
On his kale diet, sleeping these hyperbolic chambers.
God knows what.
Dressing up as an avocado, the whole thing. It all plays into it. My second thing, can we give John Lynch, GM of the year? He's been killing it since he's taken over for the 49ers. You have to say Jimmy Garoppolo is an obvious upgrade for CJ Beathard.
Easy. And I loved his quote. His quote was, "We didn't bring Garoppolo in to save our season. We brought him in to be the future." So I like that. You know, they're not trying to, just make a respectable record or whatever. They don't care. They're about the process, Gabe. They're about the process.
We're trusting the process.
So
Trust the process.
I hate that the Bills say that. But regardless, I think that the 49ers put themselves in a good spot. They got some running back things to figure out. I mean, Carlos Hyde, he thought he was going to get traded, and then he didn't, and then I thought he was, and then he didn't. So, I don't know. We'll see. They might bring back Colin Kaepernick. I just don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. That's another can of worms, Travis.
I know.
Let's move on to my favorite segment of the pod this year, the Sam Darnold sweepstakes.
The Sam Darnold sweepstakes.
I really don't look. Quarterbacks, players, they're going to struggle in college. I know it's different, but Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, they didn't even make the NCAA tournament, and they're still killing it as pros. I can't think of a college football player off the top of my head. But where are all our franchise quarterbacks coming from? Purdue.
Yeah.
Where'd
Jared Goff play?
Right. North Dakota State.
Right. North Dakota State they weren't even ranked.
They weren't relevant.
Right, exactly.
So that's why I'm not worried about Sam Darnold. The O-line is horrible right now. And Sam Darnold, what I like about him, that tight spiral, his arm strength.
Yeah.
Mobile, big guy. So I think he is going to come out. I know I saw a report from Adam Schefter saying he's thinking about staying, but you're not going to get better playing in the Pac-12. Where will you get better? With NFL coaches playing against NFL players.
Personally, Gabe, I think the decision to stay will be about money. They've lost some games that people thought they were going to win, and his stats this year aren't stellar.
Right.
You know, I understand we see the attributes and things like that, but when you go from being, we'll say, a top 10 pick to now maybe
not being a top 5 quarterback,
right, and even in the draft,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I would say he's probably top 5, but you know what I mean? Like, his stock has just dropped. So
Right.
will he get better physically? A little bit, you know. He'll be working out. He'll be even more motivated than ever. But I think it's about money.
I still think he's the top prospect. I think you're right. He's not. Every snap he's going to lose money
Right.
if he comes back another year.
Right, exactly. So
But let's move on to the Sam Darnold sweepstakes. The Browns are currently on a bye, so they're not going to lose this week. The 49ers played the Cardinals. So you have a hot take here, Travis.
I
Let's
do
hear
have a
it.
hot take. I bet the 49ers win. They got a good atmosphere going on. I think guys are going to buy in, see that people care. They're not just playing for a paycheck. They're playing to better this organization. And Arizona they make me want to go to sleep. Ever since David Johnson got hurt, Carson Palmer hurt, you know, I don't
enough.
see it happening.
The best player on the Cardinals is 47-year-old Larry Fitzgerald.
Right, exactly. Who needs to get the ball, but regardless.
No, like that's not a diss. That's not a knock on Larry Fitzgerald.
Right. He is. He's
But
one of the best players on
but
the
it's
team.
the fact of the situation that shouldn't be the case.
Right. So
So Travis, if you anoint the 49ers with this win, which he is, then the Browns are the front runner for the Sam Darnold sweepstakes.
the Browns always find a way to mess things up, Gabe.
Oh
That's
my
all I gotta
gosh!
say.
Speaking about that, how about
Speaking of
AJ
that,
McCarron?
AJ McCarron.
First
they
of all, how
thought
do you
they
mess
had him.
that up? How do you mess AJ McCarron? Oh yeah, he's proven a lot lately, huh?
Yeah.
This was who they were going after, and they still messed that up. The mistake by the lake.
I couldn't imagine being a fan of the Cleveland Browns. I couldn't. It would, I don't know. I would
Right here,
move.
right now, Running Wild Podcast is annoying most loyal fans ever to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. If you're wearing a brown shirt and anytime, you deserve that award.
They didn't hand in their paperwork, Travis.
I understand. I can't even comprehend that.
I don't think this is Deshaun Kaiser's fault at all.
No.
I think he's going to be an average quarterback in the NFL, nothing
Right.
special. What I don't like is they keep shuffling in quarterbacks. Just write out Deshaun Kaiser. You have a lot of issues.
Right. Leave the guy in. Mm-hmm. Experience is everything. Mm-hmm. So.
All right, let's move on. So, you might have a little beef with what happened this past week, but college football came out with their rankings for the college football playoff system.
Right.
Number 6, Ohio State. Number 5, Oklahoma. That's all due to Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Number 4, Clemson, who's been doing well post Deshaun Watson. Oh, shout out to Deshaun Watson. Tore an ACL in the Thursday practice. That's
so
heartbreaking.
sad. Yep.
Number 3, Notre Dame. Number 2, number 1, Georgia.
Who's number 2, Gabe?
Alabama, St. Nick. I'm so used to saying Alabama either first or saying Alabama last if I go from least to greatest.
Right. Exactly.
I'm so used to Alabama being at the top spot. Did the committee get this right?
The committee did not get this right. Although I have to respect the committee's decision because Alabama's schedule has been a little easy, I'll say. They play in the SEC.
Right.
Your schedule is...
Geography.
Right. But his non-conference games, they do schedule those. And we thought that this would all be avoided with Nick Saban proving a point playing Florida State week 1.
Right. We didn't know Florida State would be this bad, especially after
Right.
losing, who did they lose? Francois.
Francois, yeah. So Nick Saban was trying to prove his point. Listen, we've booked hard non-conference games, week 1. We're ready to go. But then Florida State comes out and they're a bust after that injury. and the committee takes all credit away for that game. So since then, Alabama really...
They haven't played anyone.
No.
Their toughest part of the schedule is coming up now.
Right. Mississippi State will be a good game, and then Auburn will be a good game.
And then they play... I know LSU isn't the LSU of old, but they'll still be... Like, they can't lose any games, obviously, but that'll be a good win for them.
Right. I mean,
especially if they blow them out, which
they're
they
a 20-point favorite
They might
against
You're right.
LSU. So, I mean, we'll see, Gabe. Georgia's had some great wins. They're a good team.
Well, if you look at their strength of schedule, like obviously, I don't think anyone has a great strength of schedule.
Right. No.
Every team just dials up one good game. And Georgia, obviously, they beat Notre Dame.
Right. That's what puts them atop.
Right.
Alabama
hasn't beaten a Notre Dame.
Right.
But,
could they have? Oh, yeah. But they haven't had the opportunity.
And they will, Travis. They
will.
will. But here's my big issue. Do you like the current... First of all, do you like the playoff system? And do you like what the committee's doing in general?
No. I've been saying that for years. Whether whoever's one, whoever's two, it doesn't matter. You can't have a committee making decisions for millions of dollars, right? Because these teams, they work all year. You know how much Alabama gets paid to play in these 2 playoff games?
Oh.
Stupid amount. I can't even imagine, right?
Right.
So I don't think that it's fair that they do this. There's got to be some other way, or you got to have some required game, non-conference game. I don't know the solution, but there's a problem with how it is. You know, last year we had a pretty cut dry top 4, right?
Right.
This year, with all the back and forth losses and everything,
you have an argument for like 10 teams.
right? You're gonna have 4 teams that don't get in. They're gonna be like really mad because they're gonna think that they proved themselves and that they could be there, and probably 2 of them will have a case. You know, the other 2, you probably lost to something you shouldn't have. But the other 2, you flip a coin. I mean, I just hope the committee figures it out, and we'll see. I mean, will the Big Ten have 2 teams? I mean, it all comes down, what do they rank better, the non-conference schedule or the conference championship? So
Right.
if Alabama doesn't win the SEC, are they in? Probably not according to these rankings.
Right. So I don't have an issue necessarily with what they're doing. I have an issue with how they're doing it because it's what I live for is opening weekend of what we had this year. Great matchups.
Right.
I want to see the best of the best go at it. And right now, the current committee, the system, it doesn't reward that.
Right.
Because Oklahoma, Ohio State, I want to see more of those games. I know Ohio State didn't show up that day. But I want to see that matchup regardless. And with the current system the way it is now, if you get 1 loss, if you get 2 losses, you're done.
Oh, yeah. 2 losses, you're done. So why would Nick Saban have a hard strength schedule?
Right. I want to see...
Why would he?
I want to see it where you get rewarded for taking a risk, dialing up, not Citadel, something that belongs on Rick and Morty, not as a college team.
Right.
I'd much rather reward strength of schedule. I think eyeball test, who's the better team. Like, you know who's the better team. I don't care if you went undefeated in the MAC.
Right, exactly. So that's the issue. Do I know the solution? No, but there's a problem with what's going on.
I think you should be subjective. It can't be, if the Power 5, if you win that, you're in. No.
Yeah,
no,
no,
not
you
all
can't.
conferences are created equal.
Right, exactly. Is the Big Ten, do they have 2 good teams? Yeah.
Right. I know you and me disagree about this, but before Spate went down, I think they could have had 3 teams in, and I would have been okay with that. I know you're not.
We disagree with that. I was never on that Michigan bandwagon. They're horrible.
So I would have been okay with Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan. Wisconsin has a case to make, too.
They do. I mean, all that'll play out in the Big Ten championship, though,
Right.
and where they reward teams for winning their conference. So
my point is, so you have Wisconsin, and then let's just say Ohio State or Penn State. Like, those are 3 teams that deserve to be in the conversation at least.
right, I agree.
And you're only going to have one of these top teams be when they're clearly better than, say, Washington, UCLA, USC.
Right. I agree.
So right now, my current rankings would be Alabama 1, Georgia, Notre Dame. I'd have Ohio State above them. I love their line play. I like JT Barrett. He's hot and cold. And I love their running backs. I think they just have better personnel.
You know who I would have?
Who?
Alabama, Georgia, Penn State.
Ooh,
Penn
I
State,
can't say no to Shaquan Barkley.
Notre Dame. I understand that Ohio State beat Penn State, but in what a crazy game that was. Penn State's been doing it all year. Penn State has proved themselves.
Right.
They lost in last second. You know what I mean? Last second.
Right.
I
The
don't
distance between these two teams, they might be even, honestly.
They truly might
So
be.
the fact that Penn State now is going to get penalized because they lost by a couple inches is madness to me.
Exactly. I agree. So, Gabe,
So Travis,
if anybody listening, is interested, Breeders' Cups this weekend.
love the Breeders' Cup.
Breeders' Cup horse racing. Some of the best horses in the world. Go at it. It's one of the biggest races besides the Dubai World Classic. And there's a lot of money up for grabs this weekend. And if, you're looking into the big races, it's hard not to look at Arrowgate and Gunrunner. Two best horses in the world.
You and me watched Arrowgate clips. He is impressive.
He is impressive, but there were 2 days that happened to be his last 2 races that he didn't do it. He didn't get it done. So it's interesting to see. Is he hurt?
Travis, he got 2 losses. We can't have him in the race now.
Well, right. Thankfully, that's not how it works in horse racing. So, but we'll see. Gunrunner's the favorite right now. And Arrowgate, we watched beat Gunrunner 2-3 times, but that's before he came in 4th in a race and then 2nd in a race. So we'll see if Arrowgate's healthy. Arrowgate's going to win by a few lengths, but if he's not, he might come in last. It's first or last.
Right. So I think his ceiling is obviously much higher.
Oh yeah.
But he's been a little inconsistent.
Right.
I still like him though to win it. If it's close toward the end, he's winning it.
Because he just has that ending speed.
It's so impressive to watch.
It is. Now, if I had a Cinderella horse, as I will put it,
An upset.
an
Upset alert.
Gunnavera.
Ooh.
Good horse, has been running in all these races, has always been right there, but he never won,
Was he in the Kentucky Derby?
He was.
How do you do?
I don't remember. But he was right there.
Okay.
I want to say he came in like 5th or something.
Okay.
But Arrowgate didn't even run in the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's an age thing with horses.
Well, yes.
Right.
He wasn't ready.
So he would have probably been pretty dominant, wouldn't you say?
Well, potentially, but he wasn't ready. Obviously, Bob Baffert, his owner, didn't think that he could do it.
All right, fair enough.
You know what I would love to see?
What?
American Pharoah in one of these races.
Right now?
Right now.
I think that's akin to bringing back Adrian Peterson.
Well, no. I mean, he's not that old. He could be running, but he's not because they don't want him to get hurt. So I would like to see American Pharoah in this race, but, they don't want him to get hurt. He won the Triple Crown, and, they're using him to mate. And they're getting a crazy amount of money for
sperm selling.
For sperm selling.
Or sperm selling, specifically.
Well, right. And that's a big deal in horse racing. So we see that, for example, Arrowgate is Unbridled song. It's Unbridled's kid somewhere down the line. So we see it all the time. Secretariat's song. It's how old was Secretariat, but we still see it. It's at some point it's still there. So it's just interesting. We'll see. It's a very exciting weekend in sports, though.
Cannot wait.
Me either.
I have one more thing to do, Travis, with you.
Okay.
This brings me to my obtuse sport of the week. You know what I've been into lately, Travis?
What?
Chess boxing. Have you heard of this before?
I've never heard of this.
Chess boxing. I think it's going to be the next NCAA sanctioned sport. So what you do is you have 8 rounds of chess and 7 rounds of boxing. And it's scored like boxing, where you can win each round. And you have to actually be qualified as a boxer. You have to because you can't just be good at one thing and then just get knocked out.
Right.
There's competition, there's rules, there's a league. I think this is something that Hilbert should bring as an intramural. Shout out to Tyler Shaw and Jenna Cashicone. Chess boxing should be our next intramural sport.
I think that's very dangerous.
Would you watch this? Check it out on YouTube.
I would
Check
watch it.
out.
I will YouTube it. But as far as an intramural sport would go, if you had... do you know Chad Nelson?
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Chad Nelson.
Oh, yeah.
If you had Chad Nelson fighting one of us in a chess box, somebody would get hurt.
I'd just have to win one of the boxing rounds, and then I'd beat him in all the chess rounds.
Well, you could beat him in all the chess rounds, but do you mean...
Just hope I don't get knocked out.
Yeah, you might get knocked out in the boxing. So, there would definitely have to be some kind of experience, weight...
Oh, yeah.
consideration.
Right. Well, part of the beauty of this sport is that, and this is why they have it, is because you go from chess, super mentally aggressive, but you're calm. You have to be thinking. Then you go to boxing. And then you alternate back to chess. You're calm. Right. You have Mozart playing in the background, perhaps. And then you have Rocky.
I cannot wait to YouTube this.
Check it out, everyone. Travis, any final thoughts on today? Oh, my player to watch, by the way. Oh. Completely forgot about this. My player to watch isn't a player, but a unit. The Eagles' offensive line. Ever since losing David Akers, before they lost David Akers, they were the clear-cut favorite to win the NFC, possibly make a Super Bowl run. You lose David Akers. I want to see how the Eagles' O-line does against this Broncos' defensive line. This will be very telling to me.
Yeah, that'll be a great matchup. So, Gabe.
So, Travis.
You know who my player to watch is this week?
Who?
Christian McCaffrey.
Really?
Yes, going at home against the Atlanta Falcons. I love the matchup. Atlanta's D is a lot to be desired, and a lot left to be desired.
The Falcons are left to be desired, but
yeah,
go on.
I agree. And I think Christian McCaffrey is going to go off, Gabe.
You heard it here first.
Yes, so it'll be interesting.
Okay. This has been Travis Hicks. Thank you for coming on the pod.
Thank you, Gabe. Always a pleasure.